Are we ready?
Let's do it.
All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our post-show podcast. Today, we're talking about LinkedIn Live. That's right. LinkedIn has live streaming, and we have 10 tips you need to know about.
Welcome to the post-show podcast with your hosts, Paul Richards, Tess Protesto, and Michael Luttermoser. Let's talk shop.
Hello, and welcome to our post-show podcast here. We are so excited to be talking about LinkedIn. I don't remember being ever that excited about LinkedIn because, you know, if you're in business and, you know, it's your job to do marketing to people specifically, you know, you spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, but I've never been like, I love LinkedIn. On the clipping.
All right.
I've had a different experience a little bit. I love LinkedIn, and when I was freelancing a lot, I would use LinkedIn to make business connections and to find people that were in different businesses. And you know, if you had to find important people, use LinkedIn and also your connections.
I like it for stalking people out. If I
Yes.
want to interview somebody from a company, I will go to that company's LinkedIn page and stalk out all of their people to contact.
Yeah, I love LinkedIn.
Yeah, I mean, that's funny that you put it that way, Tess, because like if you're in sales, yeah, you're probably using it to like stalk people because you're trying to sell them something or meet with them. But, you know, from a marketing perspective, I think that, you know, Microsoft purchased LinkedIn. And I think that they are really going to do some great things with LinkedIn. You know, to take LinkedIn from what it has always been, which is a professional resume connection in a professional world, and it has so much potential, and we'll get into that. And Tess, if you can bring up the 10 tips that we have for everyone today, or Melissa, you can bring that up.
Also, one of our viewers, with the last name Clint, posted our how to use LinkedIn Live on his page.
Thank you, Clint. So we have an article,
webinars on LinkedIn,
that we wrote about.
Is that Hewitt?
Yes, Hewitt.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hewitt. Yeah, I think Hewitt has a really great webinar article that he wrote. I think he was predicting that this would happen.
Yes.
Is what I think was happening.
And it's fantastic.
So what we did today, we came together and we said, all right, LinkedIn is different than YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And what makes it so different? And Michael really had some funny metaphors to help explain it. But essentially, it's way more accountable. People on LinkedIn want to be professional. Also, they're very and Mike, you said this well, they're very, how do you say, like touchy when content is not business related.
Yes.
They're vocal. They'll let you know,
which is funny to
They'll
think
just
about.
be like, this isn't appropriate here.
Yeah. Like people are like, because I don't know why
They'll just be like, this is not business appropriate. There's other platforms.
Like,
for it.
and it's so funny because on the Facebook side of things, it's like anything under the sun, right?
Yeah.
You could post anything. You could be pushing your business. That's acceptable.
Yeah.
You could be doing anything. But on LinkedIn, if you're not pushing your business, and you're posting about your cat, people are like, get it off, right?
And they'll let you know.
It's more business. It's not like your fun side, like what Facebook or Instagram or Twitter is. It's like people are searching for jobs through LinkedIn. Like your future employer is most likely on LinkedIn.
You're not gonna like paste a cutout cat on your resume and turn it into a company,
Like
or
I got
sprinkles.
when I was searching for internships, like I went through LinkedIn too to find it. So I had to like post my like resume and like all this different stuff. So it's like I keep my fun stuff on Facebook and Instagram, and my professional side is somewhere different.
And that puts LinkedIn in a very good position. Because that's the world that business people want to live in. That's the sandbox that they want to live stream to. Now, Facebook has a larger reach. I think that LinkedIn is 600 million. So Facebook's a little bit, almost like triple, I think, at this point. YouTube's a lot bigger, second largest search engine. We've talked about the differences of those two in the past. But LinkedIn is not as much a search engine as it is more like a Facebook newsfeed, right?
Yeah.
It's the adult Facebook.
So if you could find a way,
that's what I call it. It's the adult Facebook.
The adults. Well, Facebook is adult because there's so many old people on Facebook. It's the business
Facebook.
And if you can find a way to push onto that newsfeed, that's the ultimate hack to LinkedIn. So live streaming could be the LinkedIn hack. Tess, what do we have for them on tip number 1? Because we really spent some time on this. Tip number 1 for we're just trying to frame out what is LinkedIn and why is LinkedIn going to be different from YouTube and Facebook when we think about live streaming to the platform.
Okay, so tip number 1 is creating content specific to LinkedIn, separate from the content that you would post on Facebook and YouTube, because it should be different because you're likely talking from a much more professional, business-centric type of tone. Chris Science commented a really great way to put it. LinkedIn's not for entertainment, whereas YouTube and Facebook often are for entertainment.
That's a good line to draw right there. It's just not for
information, services, employment, industry news, and so on.
So, and I think that's important. I think, and we don't know what the rules are going to be yet, that LinkedIn will have a rule that says if you're going to live stream to LinkedIn, you can't be simultaneously live streaming it to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch as well.
I'm certain that.
Yeah, that's pretty easy to say that's probably going to happen. So in that case, you can directly, when you create a video streaming to LinkedIn, you should say, hello, LinkedIn connections. You should say, hi, Bob Griffith, my second degree connection. Oh, a second degree connection's chatting on my live stream.
Yeah.
Oh, a third degree. We should connect. Maybe this is the ultimate way to get in front of a ton of people and boost connections.
Here's something to think about. LinkedIn also has one of the only premier memberships. So no other social media like Facebook or anybody else has that. So if you pay LinkedIn extra, you get extra, not content, but you get you can just reach more people. So
you get to view who viewed your profile. So on mine, I've gotten connections saying this person viewed your profile. Click this or pay more to view the 7 other people who have viewed your profile.
Yeah.
So you could look into maybe the LinkedIn Live. Maybe they can roll something out for those members as well.
Yeah, so maybe, and that, because I was wondering about that. I was like, if they charge for live streaming off the bat, hardly anyone's going to use it. And they need the adoption numbers. They need to look at the analytics. How are people using it? They need people. Data is what they wanted, right? So I think what will happen is, now that you said that, I'm thinking, basically you get basic live streaming for free. And then if you want advanced analytics, you want to see who watched.
There you go.
You want to see who watched but didn't comment.
There you go.
The weirdest thing is happening.
Obviously.
Shout out to Chris Zanowitz. He
Look at this.
posted that in the our comments on
Somebody
YouTube.
is hacking our YouTube chat. Look, their chat is gone and they're posting their own video. And how are they even able to post the link, but it's not in the chat?
Well, that is strange. The world of live streaming is always changing and it's crazy. But let's just stick to our topic here.
It's not in our chat anywhere.
So
I'll take it down.
Take it down.
Yeah.
Number 2 on
maybe, yeah, that'd be good.
Number 2 on our list.
You're not poaching our video, bro.
If you are used to live streaming on YouTube and Facebook, you're going to have a huge leg up on your competition when it comes to preparing to go live. So if you're waiting for access to LinkedIn Live like pretty much everybody else is, consider using YouTube and Facebook as a practice space, right? So while you may have had success in maybe a laid back impromptu live stream on traditional social media platforms, you're going to want to put your best foot forward when it's something like LinkedIn Live. And so you're going to want to think about, how can I step up my professionalism and do things in a more professional manner? Because now we're talking about all of your business connections that are going to see it.
So I want to bring something up, and Cliff in the chat brought up a good point. One of my shows is all about business, but it's very informal. Will that still be acceptable? And I know Cliff's show specifically, and I say, heck yeah. It's informal, it's interpersonal, but it's highly produced, and it's okay that it's fun or entertaining. as long as it's about business and it's not a big joke. I know it's not a big joke. There's just a little bit of life in it. And I think that your audience is going to receive that. You don't have to be, just cold just because we're on LinkedIn. People still want to see your personality, especially with live streaming. That's kind of what the point's all about, to show who you are and build real relationships. So as long as it's about business and airs on the side of professionalism, I think that it's fine.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for anyone who is interested in improving their video production quality, because it's really about production quality. You can push the boundaries of entertainment as far as you want, like almost TMZ style, super entertaining.
And there's silly businesses that are going to be themselves on it, but use it to promote their business.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
But to do that in a live setting takes production value, takes a producer potentially, takes coordination. It's not as easy as just recording a video and then editing out the parts that weren't funny. You know what I mean? You have to deliver. And so I think that that the magic place for live streams and video in general is the cross section. Think of a Venn diagram here: entertainment and education. As long as there's some education in there, you can get as entertaining as you want.
Yeah.
As long as there's like a purpose behind it. And it's not just like, I don't know, like you said, like Venn diagram, like have like entertainment and education, have it in the middle. So it's like, you can't get like flagged or anything about it. It's like, no, I'm educating you on this, but also showing my personality. So I'm not fully cold, but like I'm also not fully formal.
Right. As long as the goal is just in line with what LinkedIn sees as the goals for LinkedIn Live, which I'm assuming is promoting businesses and services and connecting business professionals with other business professionals.
And it's also good about it is like your connections will share it. If they like it, then their connections will share it. And then before you know it, you might get a connection from like someone completely famous says, oh, these people like put out this live stream about like about something, and it would be really cool to do something with them. Like Neverland VR, like something cool like that. Or like BAM, we did the BAM live stream, like something like that. So LinkedIn will help with that.
And putting yourself out there via video is going to generate opportunities for sure. Now, LinkedIn has yet to release, number 3 here, yet to release a list of rules and best practices for live streaming on the platform. Obviously, we can predict that it's going to fall in line with what YouTube and Facebook are doing and err on the side of professionalism. And as you may know, Facebook does not want you, and they tell you not to live stream to multiple platforms at the same time. They want you to be exclusive to the network. So we can expect that LinkedIn will have a similar enforcement of the rules. But what I think we'll find is that on Facebook and YouTube, pretty much everybody's breaking the rules out there. It's the wild, wild west. There's no enforcement because there's too much content for Facebook to manage. But I think on LinkedIn, especially in the beginning, there's going to be a way to flag content, and it's going to be like probably user driven. So like if you're all entertainment and there's no educational value, you might get flagged. If you're streaming to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and LinkedIn all at the same time, you might get flagged. So I think that you could have your live streaming privileges revoked on LinkedIn, knowing that it's a smaller network, more professional. They might take the rules more seriously, and it could be an issue for folks who think that they can break the rules. So if you've been trained by, streaming to Facebook and YouTube at the same time and never getting in trouble, well, be more careful on the LinkedIn side.
Wait. Question: who owns Twitch?
Amazon.
Okay, never mind that.
Amazon owns Twitch. Microsoft owns LinkedIn. Google owns YouTube, and Facebook owns Facebook.
And Instagram.
And Instagram, yeah.
My list says that the next one is 4. Oh no, my list said that the LinkedIn with the best practices is number 4. So I'm on number 5. What's your number 1?
LinkedIn is a place where users highly regard their profile accuracy and business reputation.
That's 5 for me, but it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. So, number 5 here on Tessa's list says, unlike YouTube and Facebook, which suffers from large amounts of fake accounts and sometimes unaccountable activity, LinkedIn's community is an established culture will lead to a higher level of quality and accountability. With this in mind, you want to make sure that your content's highly produced and effective in telling your story in a professional way. And I like this one here from Michael. Remember, time is money, and the users on LinkedIn are well aware of this as business professionals.
Don't waste their time.
Yeah, they'll let you know.
They're going to call you out. They're vocal about it. Very vocal.
Yeah.
Like if you post, go ahead and try and you'll see.
I'm not used to that. I'm not sure.
I know.
Post something about like my cat.
Yeah, most people probably aren't used to like a platform being so vocal.
Like well guarded in a way.
Well, I compare that to private user groups.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because our private user groups members tend to be very vocal when somebody is posting something in there that's not relevant to the conversation. Because it's kind of just diluting the conversations that are happening.
Yeah, so I like agree with you there. Like it's more private groups than like open. So
it's almost like LinkedIn is a private group.
It is,
right?
Yeah, and it can be with like when you become the premium LinkedIn premium. Like you are controlling a lot of what you're seeing and who you're connecting with. But it's like time is money. You're on LinkedIn trying to find a job. You know, paying rent isn't like a laughing matter. Like being kicked out on the street is not laughing matter.
Paying rent, student loans.
You don't want to see a cat video. You know.
You've only got so much time to scroll through this news feed right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, Tess, what's our next tip here?
Number 5, 6. Short videos are already performing extremely well on LinkedIn's platform. Facebook has publicly stated that the viewers on the platform spend on average 3 times more watching live content versus pre-recorded on-demand videos. With this in mind, consider how you can incorporate live viewer engagement on your LinkedIn live streams. Don't make the mistake of ignoring your live audience. Make sure that you are addressing them in the live chat, remembering most of their names, especially your recurring viewers. And remember that people that are commenting on your live stream are part of your business network and may be important partners or prospects for future business endeavors.
You know who does a great job is
Me?
Yes. Here. You know what?
There's a clap for Tess today.
For a good joke.
Thank you.
YouTube's videos, the advertisement videos, you have a video that shows the first 5 seconds and then gives you the ability to skip. And they have it perfectly lined up where the first 5 seconds is the whole advertisement. But if you don't skip it, it goes into like the full video advertisement.
Interesting.
It's kind of genius in that way.
They're tricking you.
They trick you. So it's like, I'm still going to hit the skip button.
Make sure you get some majority of the message through in those first 3 to 5 seconds, whatever it is.
Because most people skip it.
And the other thing about live engagement specifically, that's what live streaming is all about. Like live streaming at the end of the day is a bridge between you and the community that you're streaming to. So in LinkedIn specifically, it's your business to the world, to your connections, to your business's page potentially, right? So when's the last time you updated your business page on LinkedIn? When's the last time you shared something there? That's underutilized hardcore. We don't even really touch it. And I do think that it is very important to look at.
I just added a profile picture and cover photo the other day.
Thank goodness, because that was,
optics.
we needed that. Thank goodness. So, and then the engagement side of it, and now that we're having this podcast, and this is what I mean by gloves off, really trying to dig into it, I think, especially if you are a premium member, I'm not sure how this is all going to go down, but when somebody comments, you could probably hover over their comment and be like, oh, you're a second degree connection. How do I know you? Like, imagine how engaging you could get in a LinkedIn live stream. You could say, oh, thank you for your comment, Melissa McCormick. I can see that we're a second degree connection. How are we connected? Who do we both know? You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of thing that you can do on LinkedIn that there's pretty much no other platform that you can do that on. I mean, maybe you could do that on Facebook to a certain extent.
It's more mutual friends on Facebook. It's like, oh, Paul Richards popped up. It's like, who is he? How do I know him? Oh, we both know Mike.
Yeah. So I think you could take engagement to a whole new level. Like you could even, I don't know. It just depends on where you want to take this, but you could say, oh, you used to work here. I have a friend who works there. Or, that's what social media is all about too, isn't it? Isn't it social media, Tess calls it stalking, but like in a certain way, because it feels like that sometimes, but in a certain way, it's looking for common ground. Who do we know? Who do we both know? What company do we both work at some point in our career? How are we connected? And realizing that becomes this common ground. And then through the live stream, people are actually on there saying, oh, I'm a first degree connection with Mike, I'm a second degree and I'm a third degree. And, maybe we should all become first degree.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing I could definitely see happening.
There's a lot of connections on my LinkedIn that's like professors, and then their connections come in. And then it's like first degree connection because whatever professor or stuff like, or something like that. Or we have a Vail conference every fall semester, and we get music industry people to come in, esports, recording, business, and everything. And I like connect with them on LinkedIn. So then I see what they see, or I see what they post and say like, oh, opportunity in like Florida or Philadelphia. If anybody's around or interested, send your resume in. Yeah. So then before you know, you're networking all the way through, and then you get a brand new connection. Then you're like, I don't know who you truly are, but like we both work in the same industry. I've gotten connections where it's like you put like all your industry like information, like what industries you're a part of, live streaming, audio, or something like that. And the next thing you know, connections pop up and saying like, these are all the connections that match your thing. And then you're like, oh, I know this person. And then you connect with them.
Yeah, it's great. So on number 6/7 here, we might have 11 tips all in all, Tess.
Okay.
When was the last time that you updated your LinkedIn profile? When you go live on the platform, consider keeping your branding consistent. Yep. And this is so important because when you go live, and think about this, everyone who's connected to you, the last thing they saw is like your picture, or they might have glanced at your business resume on LinkedIn. When you go live, if that's not consistent with who they think you are, it's like, who is this person? Why am I connected with this person? They're selling bananas for $20, ridiculous stuff. If it's not consistent with who they think you are, you could be doing yourself a huge disservice. So LinkedIn live streaming will likely be available for both individual pages and business pages. So you need to keep your business page updated and consistent with your company's branding. And then your personal page, should reflect, your live video should reflect who you are. And whether you're using it for a personal perspective, like if you are the salesperson for X company, you should be reflecting that role because that's who you are on LinkedIn. That's your role. So your live stream should be no different. You need to consider the ability to share your live streams with relevant business pages, groups, like-minded individuals, and take the time on LinkedIn, it's time, this is you, Mike, it's time to take LinkedIn off the back burner and schedule a meeting with your social media team. Maybe this is a branding thing now. Maybe you're the top salesperson for your business and now you do need a space where you can have a professional live stream, whether it's a semi-conference room studio or a space in your office where you can look professional and be consistent with who you believe you should be as someone in a role in your organization.
I got first introduced to LinkedIn like back in 2012, 2013, and started working on it 2014 when I worked in a lot of startups, and how important was with you're in the startup world and having a strong LinkedIn and then connecting with venture capitalists or bringing on team members that you met. So important.
Yeah.
I have a funny story. When I was going to get hired by Haverford, you reached out to me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I had no idea who you were because the name Haverford wasn't connected to you. It was Chief Streaming Officer with Stream Geeks. And I was like, who is this Paul? But it all worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be consistent. I'm definitely, I'm not the most consistent in the world. Now, I have 125 articles on LinkedIn, and I really do think that it's taken about 100 articles for people to be like, all right, this guy knows what he's talking about. And I get followed, and people respect what I do in the industry now. And of course, over that year, even when you first met me, like our video production quality wasn't consistent where I at least wanted the brand to be. So there's now that I think about it, it is probably, you should probably think about the fact that like your company might want its branding to be glass windows at New York City on the New York Stock Exchange, and you're in Alaska and it's just not possible. Right. So what are some little tips that you can do? We have a whole guide on this. It should be linked below, how to build a live streaming set. We built a live streaming set for less than $1,000. We've probably spent $100,000 on 3 or 4 live streaming sets here in this office, but that's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
I don't expect every business to be able to do that, to have a podcasting studio and a streaming studio and a brainstorming studio.
And a future studio.
A future studio. I mean, we're always adding new studios. So, I mean, if you could just get, and I'd say stay away from green screens, even though it can make you look like you're in the New York Stock Exchange. It can also make you look like
cheesy
as can be, especially if you don't get the perspective right. Like there's people like Andrew Haley, and I love him to death. He uses a green screen all the time and the perspective is off. So he looks like a smaller person. And then you meet him in person and he's like 6'8", and you're like, whoa. Oh, he's not 6'8", he's 6'2". But it's like, huge. You could be like, that's kind of like what we're talking about here. Branding, consistency. Yeah. I would go as authentic as possible, find a quiet space, whatever you need to do. But branding. It's going to become more and more important if you're going to put yourself out there on LinkedIn. All right, Mike, what are we at with number 7 here?
All right, for number 7,
if you're talked about.
Did we do that one?
No,
this is 7. Here we go.
If your company is not prepared to create professional live video content that is in line with your corporate branding, consider creating a dedicated space in your office for this purpose. As you can see in our live streaming studio, we have the ability to live stream to YouTube for professional webinars, Facebook to dedicated social media related content, and we're going to start live streaming to LinkedIn soon for professional and business updates. A investment in live streaming equipment is an investment in your entire business. So true. From sales to marketing and beyond, don't get left behind at the final social media giant LinkedIn joins Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and more.
Is that accurate to say that LinkedIn is like the final social media giant to join the live streaming world?
I don't think, I think now, before something new comes out, I think right now, it is the final frontier.
It's like one of the last ones,
The last big ones that had to come in.
But it's like, I think we're going to get to a point where you can stream to Xbox Live, at one point, and then that's going to be a big frontier, because that's now you're going into video game platforms. So I think this live streaming is going to jump even more by adding the big frontier of LinkedIn and getting the business side of it. And then next thing you know, you're going to start live streaming on video game platforms, and then kids are going to watch that on video game platforms, and they're going to follow more, and then they're going to be like, oh, okay, they only have so many things on this platform. Let me go to another platform to see what they have. And then before you know it, you're just like, I know everything about these people. I want more.
It's almost like a kid growing up today with a smartphone. It's like,
exactly,
when they're 25 years old, it's going to be a lot different than us who are just still kind of learning how to use the smartphones, or at least some generations still using it. And I think that from a certain perspective, when somebody like LinkedIn embraces live video and streaming, it's kind of like your grandfather coming in and being like, ha ha ha, this is okay now. In a weird way. It's like, it's like if LinkedIn's going to get on the bandwagon, then, it's accepted. Right?
Well, yeah. And think about it, there's a generational difference happening. You're having people retiring. You have people, think about it, how old you were back in 2008 or 2007 when Facebook came out. Let's say if you're 20, you're 31 now, you're professional. So yeah, all this with new generations coming up, it's acceptable for this type of technology.
Yeah. And I think that LinkedIn kind of had to be last, if you will, of the giants, because if they were first and they flopped in the professional business aspect of it, it would really look bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they took a while, we said this, to embrace just video. That's a year old on LinkedIn.
Just imagine
there were videos. YouTube's been
the
out
oldest member of LinkedIn that joined, imagine the 65-year-old people, when they first
I've only
joined,
been on for a
they're
while.
only been on, but they're the old guard, they're there and accepting video. As for a new social media platform, that's probably will be hidden. It'll be if your mom and auntie are on your social media, it's time to get off.
Yeah,
in a way, if you're a kid. So the new social media platform, you probably won't hear about it because they'll keep it hidden. There is a new one called Mammoth, but you'll find they'll eventually come around.
You're right, Tess. Somewhere my list got a little flubbed here. I did want to go back to one thing that I can't remember if we really talked about, which is what type of content does LinkedIn want to see, right? Because LinkedIn's opening up a little bit of a can of worms here, right? It's like, do they know what people are going to stream? No. Are they, there's no way for them to know yet what's going to come of LinkedIn live streaming. How are small businesses going to handle it? How are medium-sized businesses? Obviously, the enterprise is going to be incredibly professional because they have the resources. But how is Mr. Entrepreneur who doesn't have any resources going to handle it, right?
I think they're going to handle it how they're handling video content now through how the YouTube, how they're handling it, and how also all the other members are handling the content. If they don't like it, it's not professional. It's going to be kicked off. But yeah, as for a live stream, how are they going to control it? They don't flag it. They didn't cut it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about, but I will say what LinkedIn has said in the news about what they do expect to see and what they're hoping to see is they're hoping to see more of the type of business-oriented content that you will find on LinkedIn today. So they're thinking, okay, product releases, okay, conferences, product releases, Q&A sessions with CEOs, and one of the verbiages they used is office hour content, not
I like that.
9 p.m. at the bar.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure Gary Vaynerchuk will break the rules and do something like that. But they're talking office hours, right?
Yeah.
Things where this is like a white collar thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is not like, I think that blue collar should be involved, like in a way, because unfortunately, like here's the example. Like,
let's keep them close, but not too close. What the heck?
No, here's what I'm saying here is that like blue collar like blue collar to me is the person out there working on the telephone
a tradesman
pole.
or something like that.
And it's dangerous for them to whip out a phone and start streaming while they're doing their job.
So be careful.
But what I'm saying here is that I think that
maybe back at corporate
in the right way could actually be, accepted. Like for example, you start off at corporate and you're saying, hey, today we're going to show you a giant installation of solar panels.
I like that.
Outside, let's cut to X.
Yeah.
And, we have the technology to do that. Mm-hmm. Boom. Now you're seeing in the field. And now, you're talking to a plumber who's fixing, New York City's sewage system. It's basically the news from your company.
Mm-hmm.
It's the news from your perspective. And that is 100% the trend. We're seeing it over and over again. News stations now, local news stations still have actually people still trust them, even though the demographics of people who actually watch those news stations is like 60 plus, and they know it, and it's like their viewership numbers are less than what you see. I mean, on a normal Facebook live stream, it's ridiculous. I can't believe that it's because the advertisers keep paying them. It's the only reason why they're still in business. But and the only reason why the major television networks are still in business is because advertisers keep paying them. It's going to take years for the advertisers to switch over to places like LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook in the way that they've supported traditional media in the past. But that's the future. It's the news from you, your business, your agenda, whether it's your video game stream or your idea. It's like, here's what are we doing right now? This is our take on LinkedIn Live. And I'm glad we're doing it because literally there is very little information about this. And even the information out there, I'm going to call Eli, the computer guy, out. He's like BITCHing about YouTube and saying LinkedIn's going to take over, which doesn't make any sense. There's like 3 other people who are just basically trying to grab views by saying, hey, LinkedIn Live is going to be like this and we're all going to love it. But they haven't really critically thought about
like clickbait type deal.
Yeah, clickbait, yeah.
Almost. Because it's like, okay, like why did you make this video? You haven't put any like serious thought into it. Yeah. You just like basically made a video saying LinkedIn has live streaming now.
I don't like it. Watch it.
Yeah. And
see, what's also good about it is that it's going to be like you were saying about it's from your agenda, your business, and like everything like that. It's like the news from you, but also it's your perspective. So instead of just seeing it like one way, it's now you're finally seeing it 2-way. Mm-hmm. So now like if we start live streaming on LinkedIn, now we're bringing professional people into our world to say, this is the stuff we do. This is the stuff we use. If you want to see our other videos, go on other social media and you can find us there before we got to the business side of everything. So it's more of perspective than like
gem.
I'm such a gem.
Such a gem.
You got the gems.
Well,
That's what that means.
and the thing about that,
Me and you, Tess, we got the gems.
One of the things I wanted to end on is that on the streaming side of things, this is probably the best thing that could happen to you from a live streaming perspective. Is who are the people that follow you? Obviously, your coworkers, obviously your business partners, and obviously your customers. And if you can get a customer testimonial on a live stream in front of 5 potential customers, it's gold. It happens to us all the time. We're lucky in that way because we've been live streaming for so long. We'll have a customer jump on and just say, I absolutely love these cameras. They work great. All the tips that these guys put out have saved the day. And that's in front of 25 people. And then Tess clicks a button that displays it on the live stream. So it's going to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch at the same time. And that's the kind of magic that I hope will happen on LinkedIn on a highly professional business level where, I think it's going to click for a lot of people, a lot of businesses, a lot of sales managers, marketing managers. They're going to go, all right, there's no longer any time to waste.
I can't wait to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be fun. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast today. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up, and we have a couple of great downloads. Check out my LinkedIn page. I'm going to throw people to the LinkedIn page.
I was going to say, connect with us on LinkedIn.
Connect with all of us on LinkedIn.
Check us out. Search for Paul Richards, and you'll actually find links to everybody over there. And check us out. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Boom. Very nice podcast. So that's called LinkedIn. So it's actually going in on, the thing about that is it's being published on the Stream Geeks podcast because there is no HuddleCam podcast.
Oh, yeah,
That's why I didn't say HuddleCam at all throughout the whole thing.
Right.
But at least we have to stream it there.
I like Ario's comment.